from an ECOWAS resolution to pursue military action against Niger Republic's new military rulers if they fail to restore constitutional order after a 7-day deadline. In a joint statement, the leaders of both West African nations said any military action by the regional bloc would be considered a declaration of war and an assault against the sovereignty of an independent nation, which is protected under international conventions.
We refuse to apply these illegal, illegitimate, and inhumane sanctions against the people of Niger. We warn that any military intervention against Niger will be considered as a declaration of war against Burkina Faso and Mali.
Cause frankly, power is derived from the people. The military in Nigeria were making anyway that when they were going after terrorists, Mohamed Bazoum the president said to them, stop. Don't. He was getting orders from the French not to go after the terrorists, and people were dying. So it therefore meant quite a few of the so-called democratically elected presidents across the continent are notable puppets under their crop top by Western powers, not in the interest of the common persons of the people. So there comes a time when the people have it up to here. Say enough is enough. French are just exploiting them, like they exploiting the rest of Africa. You know, and people are getting educated. There's internet, so you can get information. And so when the court took place, why did the people not protest? Instead, the people were rejoicing, you know, and so I think that the rest of us should actually respect the wishes of the people. They are an independent nation. Look at what? If we are talking about democracy, if the people are fed up, it means they don't want the current administration. But what happens where administrator continues to impose itself on the people, using the military to queer rebellion and probably they're not, you know. Elections or resorts are manipulated, and things like that. So what you saw in the share today is how the people feel. And if that's how the people feel, then I think the rest of us should be a bit more careful. You know, the citizens of Niger still seeing several insurgent groups, like Al-Qaeda, Islamic affiliates, and even Boko Haram, new to kill. So when we look at the body language of the people, at this point, we saw them waving Russian flags and saying that they believe that if they're supported by Russia, that the Wagner group would be better fighters of that the So when we look at the standpoint of ECOWAS now, that has said, I mean they give them a week, but I can understand why ECOWAS behaves the way it is, because the coup poses an existential threat to the current and the democratically elected leaders. You know, in ECOWAS, some of them feel if that succeeds, we might be next. If you look across Africa right now, but if you look at the continent right now, it's been divided effectively into two. By what military? Military juntas across the continent from what you call it now, Guinea, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Chad and Sudan. It caught it as that's it. If you see the red, you know the red that you see there. These are all military regimes. Africa has been divided into two. You think it's an accident. Something is going on. What is happening here is that Africa has got the battlefield of the world powers right now, and because Africa remains the richest resource ground for the world economy, you know, everyone is fighting for the heart and soul of the continent. Like what's happening in Niger right now. The EU have said they have enough uranium to last for a little while. But when that runs out, some industries are going to collapse in those places. Basically is Russia. They're good chess players, and so they are masters at this game. Oh, we're looking at the war in Ukraine. You know that when Wagner was assumed, they were rebelling against food. Now they are suddenly wonder, we got fooled. They wanted to use that to enter somewhere, and they did. Don't be fooled. The Russians know the game that they are playing, except that the way they are playing is in consultation with the rest of Africa. Remember, they wiped out. Deaths of billions of dollars wiped away. So they're not just talking, they're walking. They talk okay, along with China. You can see what they're doing. What has been happening is the western parts. We've respected all this while. All well and good, but they have been, you know, exploitative in their relationship with Africa. There has been no respect for Africans. You know, and for the first time, Africans are begin to deal with people who show them a little bit of respect, although they may also will be exploited. But the relationship is more like we sit on the table together, not like a master and a servant.